Thank you for coming. I'm Jim Korolski, Community Services Director. And this dedication of the Florida Waterbirds collection started as a part of the city's centennial celebration. And it also is remembered, I think you all remember this, remember the lost summer when we had our water issues? So these birds mean an awful lot to us, both in our centennial year and also recognizing that it's our wildlife that we're protecting based on the lost summer. In 1764, the great German philosopher of aesthetics, Immanuel Kant, wrote a book called Observations of the Feelings of the Beautiful and the Sublime. And because you didn't hear that, I'm going to repeat it. In 1764, the great German philosopher of aesthetics, Immanuel Kant, wrote a book called Observations on the Feelings of the Beautiful and the Sublime. Born out of inspiration from our natural beauty, from a community that is connected with nature, the Florida Waterbirds stand as a visual representation of the essence of Kant's ideas of aesthetics. Today is a very special day as we put the art in Stuart. This afternoon, you'll hear from a group of civic leaders that worked on this project for the past 2 years. So I would like to introduce to you our very famous Vice Mayor, Jeffrey Crosskoff.
Thank you. It's a wonderful day. It's a beautiful Chamber of Commerce, windy day to be here. We welcome all of you, and if you would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'd remain standing for a moment. The statuary that we have represented to here today in the various forms also is a chance for us to remember the first statue the United States got. The Statue of Liberty from France. If you would take a few minutes to thank God for all of his blessings, ask for his protection, and to pray for those people in France, in Paris, who are the subject of very unnecessary actions by a particular radical group. Trust in that prayer that will stay on the other side of the ocean. Thank you. What you have here today, please be seated. What you have here today is a phenomenal example of what can be accomplished by government, the private sector, and charitable contributions. As we approach Thanksgiving, if you'll think of this project, the Waterbird Project, as a wonderful chiffon pumpkin pie. The streets, the infrastructure, the supports for the Waterbirds, all of those civic items are the crust. The pumpkin portion, the chiffon portion, are the businesses that came in after government was here, had created the environment. And the whipped cream on the pie, that's truly the lagniappe. That's the charitable heart of a community that graces us with all of these wonderful statues. It's a very wonderful thing to see. I can tell you it happened a lot sooner in the city than it would have in any other governmental organization. Thank you. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. As any artist will attest, a work of art may be beautiful in its own right, but where and how that art is displayed is almost as important as the creation itself. It provides the context for the message and the beauty that the art conveys. Before the idea of the Waterbirds was even conceived, Sam Amerson, our Public Works Director, Teresa Lamar Sarno, then the Community Redevelopment Administrator, along with Joe Capra and the entire CapTech team, were well on their way to designing the perfect outdoor public art gallery. The remaking of Colorado Avenue from US 1 to Confusion Corner was an artistic endeavor in itself. Like other works of art, it was not without some controversy. But as the City Commission and staff worked with members of the community to realize this vision, it became clear to all that a transformation was happening at the entryway to our downtown. What better place to permanently display a series of beautiful works of art? Teresa Lamar Sarno will now share some of that history and the economic aspects of this remarkable redevelopment.
About 4 years ago, the CRA had a vision for Colorado Avenue, and I'll share with you some bullet points of that vision that you see today in this thriving corridor, as you can see. A walkable street. At the time, there was a small sidewalk, about 6 feet. You couldn't cross anywhere. There was very little landscaping. It was a pretty awful looking road. So one of our goals was a walkable street, a strong commercial corridor, and to create a beautiful entryway to the historic downtown. Art was always part of that vision. Of course, we didn't realize it was going to turn into a series of these beautiful birds that just augment the beauty of Colorado Avenue and add to the bottom line of the economic return that we've received already from this project. And just to share with you some of the numbers, which it took us 3 years of public input to get to the place that we are today. Most of you probably remember some of that was painful. And what we have today is that for every dollar that the CRA invested, we have received back $3 of private investment. With this addition of about what Jim shares with me is about $200,000, I'm sure it's going to be a little over $350 now, so I'll have to redo those numbers. We have over 20 new businesses with 555 Place right behind us. I'm sure most of you have eaten there already. We have over 60 new jobs in less than 2 years of this road opening. Thank you. And all of this contributes to what we all try to achieve daily as a city employee, is to contribute to the quality of life of the city of Stuart and improve the thriving downtown that we have, add to the commercial business and the livelihood that we have, and we've done that. And I'm so proud to be part of it. And I attribute it to all the departments that were part of the process, Public Works, Development, everyone had a hand in it, as well as Stuart Main Street and the DBA. So I'm glad that we're here to do this grand opening of these beautiful birds, and this is certainly the icing on the cake. Thank you. And Mrs. Paula Nicoletti is next.
Thank you, Teresa. Exciting day. I wanted to share with you some of the big questions we had. How could we properly complement this stunning new gateway into our beloved downtown and support our businesses and property owners as well? During the historic period, our centennial celebration, we wondered what we would give our citizens, you and everyone else in our city of Stuart, that would be awesome and enduring into our future. We wondered what we would give our citizens that would signify boldness, beauty, and defiance in the face of the destruction we are witnessing now in countries around the world. We brought these tough questions to our city's dear friend and artist, Jeffrey Smith. We knew from his stunning bodies of work, and especially our beautiful Sandhill fountain, that his vision for the downtown was vital. With Jeffrey's help, the answer we arrived at was twofold. Birds. Beautiful, powerful, majestic birds that encompass our relationship and our reliance on both fresh and salt water. Birds that embody our fragility as well as our resilience. Birds that have captured us with a sense of awe and reminding us of our responsibility to act as keepers and guardians of their habitat, which in many ways is our habitat too. With the generosity of our donors, many of which are here today, an incredible Jim Krolsky, Stuart's own, and all his hard work in making this happen, and the vision of our artist Jeffrey, everything took flight. His creation brings new energy that further enlivens our downtown. As we enjoy these sculptures, it is fitting that nearly every one of these birds gaze upward, looking towards the heavens and to all the wonder and excitement that lies ahead, just like our little city of Stuart. Look out, Smithsonian Magazine. We're ready to move up from the third best small city in the United States to the first. Tom? You're welcome.
Good afternoon. I never thought this day would come. Some have said 2 years is amazing for a municipality, for government. I'm from the private sector. This is nuts. But the day has arrived. And it's great because what are we? What is this city? It's not only a place to live and work. It's a place where we can dream. Public art helps us form those dreams. It shapes our imaginations and makes us better citizens. Even during the height of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln insisted on finishing the Capitol dome. President Roosevelt, in 1942, when we had just entered World War II, said, "We need art." He dedicated the National Gallery. In 1962, President Kennedy used both as an example. And during the Cuban Missile Crisis, he began to ask for funding for the arts. Public art is not a thrill, but it's a necessity. It's for a necessity for a functioning city, for a civilized civilization. A little windy. My main job is to say thank you to these people. Mayor Layton, Vice Mayor Crosskop, myself, Commissioner Clark, Commissioner McDonald, City Manager Nicoletti, our own Jim Churlsky, and the entire Public Works Department, because they've done a great job getting this all done. We've had the sculpture sponsors, the Roebuck family, true pioneers, Polly and Tom Campenny, Women Supporting the Arts, Philip A. Bush, Southern Eagle Distributing, Dr. Henry and Marianne Gans, Marianne and Calvin Houghlin, the Houston and Hayden families, Jeffrey and Alita Smith. Now that was the money and the artist. Now comes the real people who put this all together and made sure that it could actually be there. The construction and design team, True Stone Corporation, Accurate Electrical, Captech Engineering, Wojciech, am I saying that right? And Associates, TRC Worldwide Engineering, Raul Ocampo and Associates, Doug Fitzwater, FPL, Old Castle Inc., Noah Weeder, Troop 840, Mike Owen, and Sunshine Land Design. Advisors to the project, Community Redevelopment Board, Arts Council of Martin County, Community Services Advisory Board, Stuart Main Street, Seacoast Bank. And I just want to take a minute because we have someone here who made the pavers a project. It would be Noah. Noah, come on, stand up. Take a bow. Noah lives here in Stuart. He's a member of Troop 840. He's a sophomore at Martin County High School. He's a member of the National Honor Society and a member of the Interact Club. He's also on the rowing team, and he wants to go into the medical fields. So Noah, thank you for making this project part of yours and giving it to the city. And I just want to leave you with a quote from Barbara Jordan, who was a congresswoman from Houston, Texas. The arts are not a frill. The arts are a response to our individuality and our nature. And they help to shape our identity. What is there that can transcend deep differences and stubborn divisions? The arts. They have a wonderful universality. Art has the potential to unify. It can speak in many languages without a translator. The arts do not discriminate. The arts can lift us up. Thank you. Jim, do you want to come up and...
Thank you, Commissioner Campani.
Take one step back. We'll go.
At this time, we are going to do our unveiling, and it's going to be a group project. So I would like everyone from the front row here being able to go up towards the eagle, if you wouldn't mind. And we're going to wait for our cameraman to position his camera because we want to make sure that we document this. Now, it wasn't easy covering up that bird, let me tell you. There's a bunch of paper clips on that. So let's see if we can all grab an area. They're very loosely pinned, and we'll wait for Jonathan and our photographers to get positioned. Is everyone ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that beautiful? How majestic. American legacy. That is wonderful. Folks, you want to get a photo op right here? You got everybody in there? Mr. Nicoletti, I think you should be in there. Yeah.
Can't see you love.
While everyone is getting some photographs, you can smile and say, Waterbirds. Oh, it's Stuart. Good. Okay, great. At this time, we have a very, very special guest. The artist regrets that he can't be here, but we have his beautiful wife, Alita Smith. And Alita is going to be coming up here and giving us a special announcement as the end part of our unveiling ceremony. Mrs. Smith?
Jeffrey Smith is a brilliant artist, a lover of wildlife, an advocate of nature. He's an involved father, and a kind and loving husband. I'm Alita Smith, his wife. I grew up here in Stuart, and over the years I have seen the impact of Jeffrey's work, beautifying the area and the pride we take in living here. Jeffrey would like you to know he's sorry he couldn't be here. He is at the foundry in Montana freezing and completing his newest masterpieces, including a red mangrove dining table and a monument to the Everglades gator. Creating a monument is a labor of love, and Jeffrey loves what he does. Jeffrey's honored to have his sculptures in the city. This is possible because of your support. Jeffrey and I would like to thank all of our sponsors and the city of Stuart and our citizens. I am very excited today to announce that Jeffrey and I are donating the centerpiece to this project, the Three Herons Monument. It has special meaning to both Jeffrey and myself. It's his vision of the three graces and represents to us beauty, charity, and purity. We gift this to our 5 children and to the citizens of Stuart to enjoy. It is Jeffrey's hope when we see his birds each time we take a moment to pay attention to the natural world, to see the wildlife hiding in plain sight, to reflect about nature, and to enjoy our beautiful city. I'm so proud of my husband. Thank you.
Thank you for your generous contribution. I don't know if you've seen the 3 great blue herons that are in a trio. They were on display in downtown. I believe they're in your other gallery now. And they are going to be a part of our final phase to the Waterbirds collection, which will be at our roundabout. So the city is taking upon itself to being able to redesign the roundabout, and the crowning jewel will be those 3 great blue herons. It seems like there's an awful lot of symbolism with all these birds. We're making connections to sculptures in France and our nature and waterbirds, but I think that there's a particular monument that I have a personal connection with, and it's those 3 great blue herons. Because now that Colorado Avenue is now redeveloped, that's the intersection to Martin Luther King Boulevard, Colorado, which happens to join 3 business districts, US 1, the historic downtown, and East Stuart. And so through those 3 birds, I see those as representations of those 3 business districts coming together in unison in our city. So I thank you for today. I'm going to introduce to you someone from Jeffrey Smith's gallery. This is his gallery manager, and his name is Lars Totterman. And Lars is going to give you his first art walk.
Thank you. Hello. My first art walk. Well, I've been walking art walks for the last 7 years, and for the last 1 year with Jeffrey, and it's a great honor, and I'm very happy to be here. What the art walk today was going to be about. By the way, Jim, thank you very much. A recognition to Jim Karolski, who is a dynamo. So, explaining the process of bronze and bronze casting, what Jeffrey does, is a sort of an art class in itself. So I'm going to be brief today. I welcome everybody to visit the Osceola Street Gallery. We're open there every day, and it's nice and air conditioned. We have plenty of time, and I can explain in greater detail. Now, the American legacy that you see here is it's a work of art. It's a representation of many symbolic values: America, freedom, wildlife. But Jeffrey's process is such that he'll find the inspiration around him. Stuart being his home for the last 20 years, native of California through Montana, and now here in Stuart. The length of work and how long it takes to create these pieces are maybe overlooked sometimes in the world of sort of immediate gratification and access. This eagle is with us because Jeffrey took the time to study them, to create maquettes, to actually sculpt it out of clay. From here in Stuart, they're all shipped to Montana. And in Montana, where the foundry work is done, Jeffrey oversees each piece, the first casting of them, so that they come out exactly the way he intended them to be. That process for a piece of this magnitude can take up to a year, sometimes even longer, sometimes shorter. But that's what Jeffrey does, and that's why he's not here with us today. He's at the foundry working. He's the hardest working man in art, and it is truly hard work. If anybody has experience in a foundry, it is not the most pleasant of places to work, and however, he is dedicated to it, and he's been able to create these beautiful works for the last 30 years. So with that said, I would welcome everybody to walk up and down Colorado Avenue today. There are 5 birds here. Well, actually 6, because there are 2 ospreys further down the road here. We have the eagle, we have a rosy spoonbill and pelican, and a dancing sandhill crane. The dancing sandhill crane is in the median, so I encourage you not to cross the street right there. However, we do have an edition of it at the Osceola Street Gallery, so you can come and inspect it closer and actually see and feel and touch it. The bronze sculptures will last forever if they're taken care of. As you know, with the sailfish already in town, with the Statue of Liberty in New York, they are legacies that will last many, many lifetimes. So it's a great honor and a pleasure to have something so timeless as the birds here in Stuart, and that's where I'm going to leave off and let you go explore.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our unveiling ceremony. If you would like to stay for the art walk, I might suggest that we gather in this area. And if you'd like to participate in some photographs, you can go ahead and actually go right in front of the American Legacy. On behalf of the City of Stuart,